You are listening to Animal Soul Wisdom Radio, tapping into wisdom of our animals, angels, and masters with Darcy Pariso. Tune in monthly to learn how you can better understand your animals and deepen your relationship. This hit show calls attention to the many roles animals play in our lives. Through stories and insights, Darcy shares how animals assist us in raising our consciousness and fulfilling our soul's purpose. These busy healers help us with transitions and challenges, love us, and want us to have more joy in our lives. Are you ready to see yourself through your animal's eyes? Learn how they're helping you and walk through life with more ease and grace? Working with ancient healing practices, Darcy can guide you and provide inspiration to move forward. To learn more, go to darcypariso.com.
Hey everyone, welcome and Happy New Year. I'm Darcy Pariso, the host of Animal Soul Wisdom Radio, and I'm here to share stories, personal experiences, and ways that you can ways to help you to understand your animal companions and to deepen your relationship. And today is a very special show. It's the first of the new year, and I have a very special guest. My dear friend, Stacy Lewis, is joining me.
Hello, Darcy.
Yeah, welcome. I'm so happy to have you.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
So I'm going to tell you a little bit about Stacy. She's the founder of Centaur Development Wellness Ranch in Snohomish, Washington, and with almost 20 years, right? About 20 years as a life coach.
Yeah.
So Stacy has taken her love for animals, for horses in particular, and created an unconventional equine facilitated learning program. And she helps clients explore, develop, and materialize their own life passion. And I can attest to that, and I'll share more on that during the show. So Stacy's used this powerful approach with businesses, spiritual organizations, and children and adults. Stacy lives and works on a ranch and offers some really fun workshops. And I know that they are often life-changing, having participated.
Yes, and we've done a few together.
We have. They've been great fun. So I've been very fortunate to be a part of that. So thank you. So,
Thank you.
And your website, Stacy, can you share that?
It's centaurdevelopment.com, CENTAUR development.com.
Okay, great. So let's jump in.
Okay. Well, we were talking about the show, and kind of since it's a new year show, where do we want to go? Where are we going to take our own businesses for the new year? And
big question.
Yeah. And I had, Darcy, you know, but I have a very special horse I started my whole business with, Ella. And unfortunately, she passed in June of this year. And so I've been sitting since she has left with, what do I want to do with my business? How do I want to grow my business? And it's this question that you and I have discussed together. What do you want to do with your business? How are you going to grow your business? So we're coming on the show to talk about that.
Yeah, it's a big question, a big decision. And I thought a lot about that. And there's all kinds of things that you could do, and, you know, categories and subcategories and all that. But really it comes down to like what's in your heart and what gives you joy. Yeah.
And so it's because it's the first of the year, people are beginning to call me, you know, like, oh, we want to come out and we've got this project we're working on. We need help on it. One woman is writing a book and has wanted to help. She's been, writing the book for 5 years. So she really wants to get it done this year. How can she move forward with that? And in not having my star horse, Ella, around, I have 4 other horses, but not having my star horse, Ella, around, like, I don't know how this is going to work. And so how are we going to move forward? And I feel like I needed a little bit Ella's guidance in moving forward. Is this something I wanted to do and move forward? And so can I share some stories with you?
Oh, please do. Because having my own experience with Ella and living vicariously through yours, I love to hear about Ella and talk about her. She's a real special, magnificent horse.
Thank you. Well, and Ella, I got Ella when she was 2. And she actually, when she was 4, she was diagnosed with this navicular, which is not a very good sentence for a horse to have. It's hard for them to move as a normal horse would. You can't ride them so much. And so I had to figure out, what can I do with Ella? And I feel like she, how some animals come to us and they just are guides. They're guiding us to where we need to be. Yeah. And they're on their journey too, getting what they need to get from the path. But Ella and I came together to create Centaur Development Wellness Ranch. Like you said, I was a life coach for 20 years. And in life coaching, you figure out, what is your own passion? And horses were my passion. So how to combine them. And so then Ella comes, and I can't really ride her. And she loves people. She absolutely loved people. And so really worked hard, probably for the past 15 years, how to incorporate horses into life coaching. And that's, as you've experienced, that's such a neat thing, because the horses are 100% in the moment. The horses reflect but what is the client feeling at that given moment.
I've seen that in our classes together, and I've had the experience myself, and I can share that a little bit later if you want to continue.
Okay. So since she's passed, and it was very hard. I mean, I'm sure too, a lot of you listeners have had animals that they're on they want to leave. And how, as humans, as the keeper of these animals, how do we make a decision for an animal to leave? That's a whole other story, because I know you're dealing with that with your dog Kobe too.
Yes, I am.
And that's so hard. But I would be just doing a normal thing, like driving a car, and Ella would, Stacy, I'm done. I want to leave. And I had the vet saying, we can try some more stuff. And the farrier saying, we can try some more stuff. And Ella was at 19, and that's pretty young for a horse still, but she's like, I'm done. I want to leave. So listening to that, that was so painful. And we talked about it a few times too. Mm-hmm. And it was fun, because I remember when when I made the decision that I had to end her life, I had called the vet, and he couldn't come out for a week because he was out of town. And we hadn't talked for a couple months. And so I called you, and the first thing you said to me is, "Oh, Stacy, I'm so sorry." You knew it was happening because she was talking to you.
Yeah, she was coming in.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah. She, the thing about Ella is she would go around to all your friend group and all the people that she touched lives, and she would give us all messages and kind of, augment or verify messages that you were getting to say, this is accurate. I do want to leave. And she was hitting you on all sources to make sure that you got the message.
Yeah. And but that was a very painful thing. And so I dealt with losing, some soul that has been with me on a tangible basis every day. She was the alpha mare of my ranch. She was around. So losing something tangible basis, but then realizing they're not gone. She's like, she left this really itchy body because she had horrible reaction to bugs. She left sore front feet, just standing and being sore. And she's still with me. She's still guiding me. And that's one of the stories I wanted to tell you. We had this client who is a young man who was coming out, and he was Ella's special person. And he wanted to come out to the ranch recently. And, Ella's been gone for 6 months now. And I had no idea what it was going to look like, because I've been sitting, what do I want to do with this business? And he came out, and again, no idea what he was going to do. But then he started working with this horse, Guy. And Guy's like, I want to work with you. And it was interesting in the relationship and how they started working with each other. He would take him, and Guy can be a flighty horse and kind of a scary horse. And he wasn't sure about working with this young man, and the young man wasn't sure about working with him. So that then, it's just that's lessons.
Yeah. You're reminding me of something. I had totally forgotten about this, but this past couple of days, I've been thinking about Guy, and I didn't know exactly why. Mm-hmm. And it may have been, maybe you mentioned something about Guy, but I don't recall that. But what I do recall is that we had a workshop together at Centaur Development Wellness Ranch, and Guy stepped up and started giving messages. Oh, wow. And his, the person that owned him was there, and she just looked floored, because what happened, and you probably can explain this better than I can, but we started, I think, with Ella, and she gave some messages, and then we went to Guy, and Guy was also doing a lot of the same exercises in this workshop. And his person who, owned him and cared for him had never seen him in this light. And suddenly, and so she was amazed. But then suddenly Guy started talking to me, and Guy was just giving me information, kind of rapid fire, like choo, 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 and information for each person, all different people. And she looked floored. She looked just so stunned. She had never seen him in this light. And he said to her very strongly something that, I can do this. We can work together. And I'm very capable of bringing messages and helping people, healing people.
Yeah.
Remember that.
So he's stepping up. And even just, 2 nights ago, his person, where she was grooming Guy, and she's like, I'm just so happy he's here. And she got teary-eyed, and she's like, he's here for a reason. He's here. Even if he can help one little person change and become happier, this is the perfect place for him. And I'm so happy he's here. So it's neat because she has that message. And then we've got some other horses. We've got Flip, who is a huge, beautiful man. And he doesn't work with us a lot. But then we've got Z is one of those personalities that isn't interested in you unless you 100% engage her. And so, in life coaching, that's lessons, because how do you engage? One, if you want more clients, how do you engage your clients? If you want more, close friends, how do you engage close friends? So that's how the horses and their special situations and their special personalities, that's how people are drawn to them. So with Ella passing, and I've had another client come out with not knowing, okay, before we always worked with Ella and the other horses were just in the back, but now we come and they visit Guy, Flip, Ruth, and Z. And who do you want to work with? We have no idea what it's going to turn out like. I mean, Ruth is my spunky little baby horse that I have to keep on a halter because she's very spunky. And so my spunky clients end up really liking to work with Ruth.
You know what? That's such a great experience, though, for everyone, for the horses, and how they can step up and who's drawn to whom. And I love that. And
it was really neat because I needed Ella's permission to move forward. And I've got Ella's permission from the last 2 clients that have come out. And it's very moving. It's very moving. It's like, this is a legacy she started and she wants to continue it. And then she's helped. I'm surprised because the people who have visited her last year, just like one time, said, Ella's my teacher. She comes to me at night, and I have some people who say, Z is too. They come to them at night. They give them messages. You know that. You're bringing up so many memories for me. There were several times where I was driving up to the ranch and I had been woken up about, usually it was 3:30 a.m., sometimes 3. And Ella would come in and give me messages. And I remember one particular time that she showed me all these lives we had together, and they were all wonderful, one beautiful life after another. And I was all excited. I couldn't wait to see her. And then as I got closer to the ranch, I heard, today you're going to be cleared to the core. And I went, oh no, what does that mean? I felt a little set up. And I walked into your home and you were pacing and you said, Ella didn't sleep all night. She's, something's going on. She's kind of upset. Something's brewing. I don't know. And I said, well, I think it's about me. And she did. She had a lot of healing and releasing to do along with me, which I didn't realize right away because I went to the arena myself, and she kept showing me different lives we had where she was my horse and she had been, killed in a war and different situations like that, one after another. It's hard to see, very hard to see. And then at the end, and also some beautiful lives where I was the girl and I loved her and rode her, and they were really nice lives. And then one at the end, she showed me where I was a horse and I was killed in war, and she was the person. And I do believe, and I've seen that many times. So if it sounds strange or a new thought, just consider it, that we're souls. Yeah. And that even you and I are together. I mean, I think you and Ella has created so much in my life. I mean, when I first got Ella, I lived in the suburbs in Shoreline. Now I live on a beautiful horse ranch in Snohomish, and everything was developed around her. And I feel like my strong friendships, you're a very close friend. And you had, I think, a relationship with Ella, not a physical, tangible relationship, but that brought you and brought us together. When you have these guides that kind of direct where your life should go, if you're open enough to listen to them. And I feel like Ella's my guide, and she was my guide in the present, in the physical, and she's my guide in the spiritual. Yeah. And after she passed, I think she was going around talking to a lot of people and helping a lot of people, myself included. So yes, and every once in a while she pops in. And I was doing something recently where she was popping in a lot and giving information. And I'll get back to that story another time, I guess. But
yeah. So I know we're talking a lot about Ella, but
our animals. She's what I know your listeners love their animals, and there's just this veil of what the animals can really mean, and what they are to us, and how they come to us, and what the stories. And I was so excited when I met you, because you were able to open up the door of how I could actually communicate with my animals. And I just had a couple sessions with you, and you're teaching me how to do it, and it's open. It's like you've given me permission and validation that yes, I know what they're saying, and it's amazing the stuff you can teach and the stuff you share.
Yeah. And you know what? Thank you for that. And I hadn't worked with horses a lot, a little bit here and one there, but meeting Ella, suddenly I was immersed in this whole teaching program with you.
Path for you too.
Yeah. So she brought us together and helped us put us on our path, and animals will do that. And a lot of animals, you were saying that they lead us and they guide us. And I was thinking of my dog. The other thing is that what I've really become aware of is that, like, my dog is a Havanese. She's 14 and she's been with me 12 years. And she gives me great advice, and she's pretty funny at times. My King Charles Spaniel, who's crossed over, he comes in and he still, jokes and gives me information, and that's all great. But they also are physical beings in a physical body. And my dog, for the last maybe 6 months or so, is saying that she wants to cross over. She wants to leave. And all my intuitive friends, which I'm lucky to have so many beautiful intuitive friends, many contact me and say, Gobi wants to leave, and she's telling me this. And I say, I know, I'm getting that. But then she changes her mind. And what I've realized is that she's in and out of different dimensions, for one thing. And then there's some dementia physically. And so she's, dealing with a lot of different things. And even today, when Stacy and I got together and she's with us, she got confused and she doesn't always hear or see. And so now I have to clap my hands to let her know that it's okay, I'm here.
And haven't you said your other dog Griffin comes through her?
Yes, when her body was shutting down and she was really in bad shape. In fact, I even had a veterinarian scheduled to come in to euthanize her. It was that bad. And she perked up. And I went, oh boy, here we are again. So she perked up about a couple of days before that appointment. And one morning I was sitting on my couch drinking a cup of coffee, and I looked over at her and I immediately felt my dog Griffin's energy, which is very different. He was a male and he was kind of stubborn, and she's very sweet and soft. I mean, the energy could not be mistaken. And I said, whoa, you're Griffin. And so my dog Griffin has been sending energy into her body so that she can stay.
And why do you think she's staying?
My animals in my situation, and I suspect it's going to be true for a lot of the listeners, is that they want to be here for certain, celebrations, certain changes in your life. And my King Charles Spaniel didn't want me to be alone. So he was telling me that I was going to meet someone and he wanted to give him my hand. And I said, what? I just cracked up. I said, you want to give him my hand? I mean, this is my dog. And he was kind of kind of snarky dog. And he said, well, why wouldn't I? I've been taking care of you all these years. And I didn't say it that way, but, I'm sure from his perspective, he was. And he was a great support. And so Kobe's kind of taken that role. And
well, you better hurry up. And
I guess, I tell her, even last night, I gave her permission because I work a lot with the angels and my guides, and Archangel Gabriel has been giving me a lot of good support and messages with, kind of what to do for the rest, going forward for the new year. And she, I see Gabriel as female mostly. And so Gabriel came in and said, you need to remind her, that she can leave and that it's okay. Give her permission that you want her to be happy and that she can even help me more on the other side. Mm-hmm. When my cat, Sammy, told me she wanted to leave, she took on my dog Griffin's illness so that she could leave. And suddenly, she wasn't acting quite right. And I took her to the vets. Well, I told her, what are you up to? Because I could tell there was something going on. And she kept telling me, stay out of it.
Oh, wow.
And so I said, okay, but if I see any changes, I'm taking you to the vets. And 2 days later, we were in the vets, and she had an inoperable tumor that went from the back of her mouth, like a back teeth, all the way up through the nasal passages, and there was nothing they could do about it. And I was stunned because there was no signs of it, and it happened very quickly.
And then how would Griffin do?
Griffin was much better.
See, there's this invisible veil that we just don't understand about energy. And I think the animals can show us that. And, of course we want to be led. Sometimes I ask myself, am I imagining that, Ella's this great source and leading me? But it's just the stuff that continues to happen. When I imagine that, I get more signs that are strong. It's like, no, it's not true. But in our daily life, it's hard to, as we're driving our car, we're going to work, we're drinking our coffee, everything's so tangible. And I think our universe is even shifting to get to more of that energetic level.
It is. It's, there's a saying about being tuned in, tapped in, and turned on. And I think that's what we need to do, that if we get out of our head and drop into our heart space.
Exactly.
Yeah. And for me, I get the messages all the time from Gabriel, just ask. Everything that you desire is around you, but we can't give it to you. This is a planet where we need to ask and give permission. So ask for what you want and set the intention of what you want for maybe for the year or personally, or, whatever that might be. Maybe just, whatever is best, highest and holiest.
And we were talking a little bit about how we're going to take our businesses into 2020. I know me personally, with this kind of hiatus I've taken with Ella passing, I was ready just to say, whatever happens, happens. I'm fine with anything. And then now, because it's the beginning of the year, I'm getting people who are, wanting to make those New Year resolutions and stuff calling me. So it's like, even with hesitancy, like, oh, do I really want them to come out? They have. And just the stuff that happens. Like, I had a mother and daughter team come out, and Z, who is my more standoffish horse, was standing off, but then she started working with the daughter and was working with the daughter. Then she went over to the mother and just exhaled and just stood really strong and proud and confident by the mother, which Z, for those of you who've been out at the ranch know, it's hard to engage her. And the mother got the message that the daughter and the mother were okay. And, they had some issues they were going through. And then the daughter said, that's exactly what she told me. And, then they're crying and they're hugging. So how can we let things like that go? That's so I'm open. Centaur Development is open to people who want to come out and who need to be out, and they'll find us. But the marketing, the calling, so many people, the putting out brochures, I'm done with that. And I'm loving the way it's going. The clients who need to come out are going to come out. And
trust the universe.
A magical experience. And I think even with, dare say our politics, where we are in the world, I think it's changing and I think it's swinging up. You're hearing all that with all the spiritual energy and all the, what are they called? Lightsaber people that are out there.
Yeah, the light workers.
The light workers.
Yeah. It's what you put your focus on.
Yeah.
I had somebody.
Or allow, not necessarily put your focus on, because if you put your focus on something, you might be shutting out other opportunities. So allow to what happened. Just, so I'm sitting here with my palms out, my eyes shut, looking up, allow it, just let me be a vessel to the greater good and the stronger energy that can happen in this planet. It's needed really bad right now. And, you can help people understand what their animals are saying, because the animals can, some of them are our angels, some of them are our guides, and the horses that I'm meant to do, and whatever, you guys out there listening, whatever you're meant to do, just relax with it, be with it, and if you don't know what you want to do, come out and visit us, have Darcy talk with your animal, or come out and chat with the horses.
And that's a great place to be. If you don't know, it's okay. You can just be open to it, open and allow, like Stacy's saying. And the thing is, I absolutely know that you will be divinely guided and called. If you are just open to it, the timing will happen. It might it will probably come in ways you don't see. And it can be life-changing. And animals can do that. They can bring that to you. You get a somebody missed an appointment and you suddenly get it. I mean, it can be any number of ways. And Stacy is really an excellent, excellent life coach. She's highly intuitive. Yeah. And she's highly intuitive, and she asks the questions that make you, just kind of, maybe for some people dig deep, and for other people it just comes out of their mouth and they know what they're supposed to do. And she helps you get on track.
And the horses are there. I'm just a facilitator. The horses are the good life coaches, but I know how to read my horses and what they say, what they're saying. I've had people say to me, "Can you read my mind?" And I'm like, "No, I can read my horses and what they're saying."
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I think this is a great time to take a break.
Okay.
I know we kind of blew through our first one, but that's okay. So this is Darcy Pariso with Animal Soul Wisdom Radio, and my very, very special friend and guest, Stacy Lewis of Centaur Development Wellness Ranch. We'll be back in just a few minutes.
TransformationTalkRadio.com. Stuck in a roundabout of dysfunction? Learn how to speak your truth to power with host Dr. Kathy Obear. Create real change with smart tools and smart strategies. No frills, no fluff, just life-changing conversations to help get you where you want to be. Extend your reach and become an agent for real change with Kathy Obear. For more information on Kathy and her work, please visit drkathyobear.com. That's drkathyobear.com.
Tune in to Lucid Planet Radio with Dr. Kelly Neff. This hit show will illuminate your senses and empower you beyond your daily stressors and hardships. Renowned psychologist and author Dr. Kelly will captivate you with far-reaching topics and amazing guests as you wake to the greatest version of yourself. Learn to tap into your intuitions, think critically about our world, heal emotional and psychological wounds, and follow your passions to live your dreams. The Lucid Planet. Welcome home. Visit lucidplanetradio.com for more information.
Living Lighter Radio with Jason and Patricia. We have an ecosystem approach to your life. Tune in weekly every Monday at 1 p.m. Pacific on Transformation Talk Radio as we, Jason and Patricia, discuss what's truly holding you back. We offer you the tools you need to reach your goals and at the same time be living lighter. For more information about Living Lighter, visit www.livinglighter.org.
Is traditional medicine not working for you? Do you still feel as if your health isn't 100%? Here at the Holistic Medical Center, Dr. Nushin Darvish and the qualified staff look through the dimensions of wellness and start a healing plan prioritized to your needs. Our physicians assess the whole you until complete health is achieved. Get the help you need by visiting drdarvish.com or call 425-451-0404.
Wow. Hey, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show. This is Talk Radio to Thrive By. I'm telling you, I got to pinch myself some days because when each of us gets called to do something that we so not thought was in our wheelhouse to do for a purpose that's so much greater than us, we get to show up and shine.
If you would like to show up and shine on the Dr. Pat Show as a co-host or sponsor, send us an email to inspire@thedrpatshow.com.
Tune in to The Jen Royster Show, intuitive guidance to inspire your life, each Thursday at 8 a.m. Pacific and 11 a.m. Eastern on TransformationTalkRadio.com. This amazing show is an inspirational hour that will take you on an epic metaphysical journey to discover the spiritual approach to life's greatest challenges. Dr. Jen is an internationally known intuitive counselor, spiritual teacher, and energy healer. Call in for intuitive readings and visit JenRoyster.com for more information.
Your inspiration all day on TransformationTalkRadio.com.
Hey everyone, welcome back. This is Darcy Pariso and my guest Stacy Lewis.
Hello.
Of Animal Soul Wisdom Radio. And we were talking about the new year, 2020, and some of the experiences that we've had and sharing about animals and Ella and what's ahead. Stacy is a very awesome very intuitive life coach, and she can ask you those questions that get right to the heart of the matter, those things that you think, well, maybe I'll do this or maybe that, and I'll do it like this and I'll do it like that. And then she comes in with those questions like, boom, right to the heart of the matter, and well, it's easy.
So with that, Darcy, can I ask you a few questions?
Okay, I'm bearing my soul here. All right, go for it.
So what do you see 2020 looking for you?
I see it as a year of change, renewal, of having more personal contact with my clients. And also, I have been drawn for a long time, and this is certainly the time. I want to do more energy healing for animals. And even in the past year or two, I thought about, going into shelters and helping animals get adopted, and maybe forming a group of other people that are interested, bringing in maybe some animal Reiki or whatever healing modalities we might be able to bring in according to the rules or conditions of each individual establishment.
And so going into the shelters, what do you want to, like, what's your end goal for going into the shelters for the animals?
Well, I am like really a sap. When I see animals that are not adopted for whatever reason, whether it's a special needs or an older dog or a cat, I just really want to help them. And really my life dream, I think, is to have maybe a small property or a small barn or something, or someplace, maybe just a home where I can take in some senior pets. I don't want animals to die in a shelter and not feel loved. And that really touches my heart. So in the meantime, I don't think I have to look for anyone. I know they'll show up. And I haven't been able to do this because I've had, my dogs and cat at home. And as different animals have crossed over here, I didn't have a pet sitter often, or I had animals that were grieving. And
I know Kobe hates it when you leave her.
Yeah, she's very attached to me. And if I take her out of the house, I found this great pet sitter on Rover that I just adore. And I think it's expanded her world and been, good for her. But it's also hard because as her eyes and ears are diminishing and their abilities, the dementia is hard.
So when you go into the animal shelters, do you hear all sorts of stories from the animals?
I volunteered one time. I went through the training at PAWS for cats, and I was so busy just learning the system and everything that, and not so much, but that particular time they had brought in, I think, 40 or 50 dogs from Korea that were at the dog meat farms. And so the vet techs were really busy vaccinating all those dogs and then coming into the cat room and working. And I ended up picking up a virus that I brought home. And my dog got very sick, a respiratory virus. So, and I understand that's pretty common. So I have to wait a little bit before I can go back to a shelter. But I do the animal Reiki with Kathleen Prasad through her program also. But it's let the animals lead. We don't go in and heal them. We just go in and offer it to them, and they accept what they can as they're able.
How about so do you want to take clients in 2020? What does that look like?
I do. I have the best clients. I really do. I love all of my clients. They have such big hearts and compassion and always wanting to help and do the best. And so I love working with people, and it could be helping animals, just talking about, what they need, what they see, how they're helping their people, how they feel in their body, just any of those things, just giving them a voice, whatever that might be. And not only that, but if there's, animals that have crossed over.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah, I think I'm going to be putting a bigger focus on animal mediumship because there are a lot of people that are grieving, and there's a lot of loss.
Yes, so much loss. And maybe even how to get the message that this animal was here to share with their people.
The animal and spirit?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think during those conversations, they like to tell you who they're with, what they're doing, how they were helping you, how they're going to continue to help you. And it's very healing. And even though, of course, you're sad because they're not here physically, to have that kind of connection, it heals something in your heart that I don't know how else that could happen.
I remember in my first class with you. So I ended up just taking a class 6 years ago. And I brought my friend Shannon, and her horse had passed previously. And, she was coming, and I'm like, let's go just, check out this animal communicator. And Shannon's like, yeah, all right. I don't know. And she still was pretty raw on her emotions about her horse passing. And she didn't want to ask you anything because it felt violating to her relationship with her horse. But she ended, we listened to you and it's like, wow, she's saying some interesting stuff. So Shannon attentively, could you tell me about my horse? And you hit things right on, and you told Shannon what was, something about running. And my friend and her horse would run all the time together and enjoyed that. And the horse was saying those were some of my favorite times. And then you knew actually that the horse was a rescue horse and what had happened in the previous horse, her previous, ownership. And that matched with what my friend knew. And so you validated, that she's okay and she's still around. She can still send messages and the energy. And even though she's dead and gone, to me, that spirit world is out there.
Yeah.
And you shared that with someone who, was kind of skeptical about that.
Yeah. And those are probably my best referrals, but,
Yeah.
but that information comes through me. And so it's like I'm connected to source or connected to, the animal, and just open that up. And I'm always guided and protected by the angels and St. Francis and
that's where
my guides.
Is that what you want to do? Tell me more about how you see that in combination with the animal shelter in your 2020 goals. And goals, do you have goals for 2020? Do you need goals? What are you doing for 2020?
I have goals, but they're flexible because things ebb and flow. I think it's most important for me to just tune in, and I write a lot. So I get a lot of messages, and because they come through me, I will remember some of them if they're really strong, or maybe there's pictures and stories. But if there's just a lot of words coming through, unless there's an emotion with it, I could forget it. And when there's a lot of information that comes fast, which sometimes happens, I may not remember it all. So I have notebooks.
You have
journals.
This notebook in front of you right now.
I have, and I know Dr. Pat Basile said, Darcy, I understand. You need to get a recorder. I've got 2 recorders. I just need to start using them. These little handheld recorders. But I get a lot of information, and I kind of go with that. But I have trouble being grounded sometimes as this information comes through and living in this world. But I need to live in this world and be present. And because what's been happening these last couple months has been a little challenging for me, because my vibration is raising, increasing, and that means that maybe my connection is stronger, information is maybe coming faster, maybe new things are coming in. It can be a whole myriad of things.
Well, just say one. What do you think it would be? Just don't even think about it. What is it? Don't even think about it.
It's trusting and just really being open and embracing it. It's trusting.
Trusting what?
Well, I was going to say I know that I can trust the information. It feels big, and I guess it's trusting myself and trusting it. Mm-hmm. But I wouldn't get anything that I wasn't ready for. I know that. So I have to just trust that.
And then also looking at your daily life and your daily activities and your daily marketing plans. How does that go in? Like, how does
everything fit together? Yeah. Well,
are you making any changes that we want to know about?
You're very intuitive. I just, I'm sending out a newsletter today, in fact, mm-hmm. that as much as I love Animal Soul Wisdom Radio and all the wonderful callers, listeners, and all the guests I've had, I'm going to be doing just 3 more shows after this. So my last show will be the 4th week of February. And then I'm going to focus more on animal energy healing. I communicate with animals and people, and that in itself can be very healing. But sometimes there's a need to go deeper. And I think about some of the animals that I've done healing on and how life-changing it's been. And it's not me, it's what comes through me. And I just want to, expound on that and just offer that. So yeah, I'm going to be doing more energy healing for animals.
So tell me,
more animal mediumship.
What does that look like?
The healing, I joined a group because sometimes you learn from each other, and it's a good place to practice, and it's a good place to share on like Facebook on your experiences. So I know that I'm going to go through this this class pretty quickly until we get, maybe midway, more to the end, and I can focus more deeply. It's going to be beyond, we'll be doing like chakra clearing. And
so if I say, come out maybe and help me with Z, who is so standoffish with horses, how would you use that?
I can't say that I know, because what I do is I show up and I ask for help.
Exactly.
And it comes through me.
I still get that, because that's like saying, what do you do, Stacy, with a coaching client who comes out? I don't know. They come out and it happens.
And sometimes I'm moving my hands and moving energy just as I'm guided. I don't have to understand what I'm necessarily doing. I mean, I might know or maybe not. It doesn't really matter, because it's not about the practitioner.
Oh, and that goes back to what we were talking about. Allow it to happen.
Yeah.
And the energy shift that's happening.
I think that it's helpful to do some different, training or classes or some information.
Oh, it's always good to learn.
Yeah, it's always good to learn, just because working with energy, being able to read it or sense it or just know intuitively that, I'm seeing like a dark spot over here. Well, that's in this part of their body. So I'm going to, and you have the toolbox besides the guidance, and it plugs in together very nicely. You have to listen and be open.
Yeah.
And surrender. It's like turning yourself over to spirit and letting them use you to bring this through.
Yeah. Yeah. And in helping animals pass, that's, with your guidance with Ella. I mean, I remember it's just like, oh my God, I cannot believe I've made this decision. Who am I to make this decision? But I wasn't making the decision. Ella was pushing it through me. And you helped me realize that. Otherwise, I had a few nervous breakdowns.
Oh, I know. Yeah. I mean, how do you end a life? It's one of the most difficult things.
Yeah.
And, my cat volunteered, I want to leave and I'm going to be your guide on the other side. I said, what? Yeah. And she said, yeah. And my other dog's guide and the other dog's guide. And I said, I didn't know you could be all of our guide. And she's like, oh, you humans. I've never said that again to anyone.
and helping other people realize that. Is that part of your goal?
Yeah.
To share that with other people?
I want people to see who their animals are, know who they're living with, because we've all lived with animals that, we take them for walks, we might sleep on the bed, or, we have a relationship. But if you can really see who they are as a soul and see their heart, suddenly you have like this, almost like this divine presence. And maybe it might not feel like it when you have this puppy who's chewing things up, but maybe they're teaching you patience or saying, please give me some boundaries or.
Yeah. So we're going to have kind of a hole not doing the radio. How are you going to feel that?
I don't think I'll have a hole, because I keep myself very busy. I could probably stay home for the rest of my life and just read the books that I have here. Maybe not, maybe reread them twice. No, I know I'll be busy. And one of the things that Archangel Gabriel told me earlier in the year was that it's not about, it's not about time per se and being busy. It's about, setting the intention and being consistent and putting the time in, and then you're done. And actually they want me to work less, to make that a focus and work less, which is really good for me, because I need to have more balance.
And be maybe with the people who are meant to call you. See, it's fun. I get so excited talking with you and even talking with my clients, because I can see myself in them. Like, so I can see you. My goal is not to have, 50 people come through every month. My goal is to maybe even just have one who we just hit it, on. They're just such a magical transformation in their one person, that they thus go affect their children, their partners, their work people, and it bubbles out to the world. I see you definitely as that.
Yeah, I love that. It reminds me, I often get words in music. So I was hearing How to Change a Life. There's, some song about how to change a life. And I'm hearing all these little, I wish I could name all the.
I won't ask you to
the artists. No, I wouldn't do that to anybody. Sorry. Yeah, it's going to be a good year. It's more personal one-on-one. It's more me time and more work time that's like very precious and very heart-centered and loving. And like I said, you attract those people that are best for you, and they attract who's best for them, and so forth. And the right people come together.
Yeah, it's like a ripple in the water. The rock falls in, which could be, somebody calling you, asking you about their animal, or somebody coming out to Centaur Development. The rock falls in, and they in turn affect us, which allows us to even affect our other clients in different ways. It's just how we're all connected is just so magical.
That's so true, because I'm glad you brought that up, because something that you have learned, like with that horse or that cat, and then someone else comes along and you use that information to a degree. I mean, it comes in how it's going to come in, but there's also a learning and a knowing, and maybe a vibratory match in some ways. It comes together perfectly. And sometimes it's really easy to see, and sometimes it's a little bit later where it's, aha, thank you, Spirit.
And life happens every day, when we're here. It's, it's what vibrations we focus on, and what intentions we put on, and what we allow ourselves open to can direct, where we go. I mean, it sounds trite, but we can choose. With some of us have more ability to choose. I mean, there's definitely, I hate to just wash over, those who have been abused and are in horrible relationships that, are abusive, or just all the violence that can happen, but somehow get that glimmer of light and choose positive. And that's, I think, maybe where our animal spirits are trying to lead us to.
Yeah, I think that working with animals or anything intuitive, if it's coming from the right place, it's always love-centered. And when you call in love and focus on love, I mean, how can it go wrong?
Yeah.
It's only if the humans get in the way. Yeah. We are running out of time quickly. Okay. Do we want to take a last break or keep going?
I don't care.
Okay. Well, we have lots of stories to share. I've always heard this phrase, and I forget the first part of it, but it was something about what's important is we have ears to hear and eyes to see. And that's all we need to do is show up and be ourselves and be guided. Let Spirit come in, let our guides take over.
Yeah. And then, on the if you need any help with your animals, call you. Or if you are working on a transition and you need some help, there's people, I help with transition coaching, with relationship coaching, with just where do you want to go and what do you want to be and how do you want your life to change, and the way the horses react to you. And then there's and even all the other people who are on the radio shows. There's so many helpers out there.
There really are. One thing is there's a lot of there's so much help out there. There's a lot of great books and intuitive people and so forth. But what Stacy does working with animals, working with horses, where the horses show you, I mean, there's nothing like it. It's really an incredible feeling. And it brings to mind, we had a class workshop, and Ella, who was kind of the lead teacher, she suddenly took one of the participants in the class and went up to the side. And we looked over at them, and the woman had her arms wrapped around Ella, was hugging Ella, and you could just see the energy around them. I mean, they were totally tuned out. Ella had her head down. She was very focused, and they were checked out, and they were doing their own thing. And I think that we both sensed that, there was a profound healing happening.
Well, I remember she said one of her horses who had passed had taken, what is it when they go into the other body? So remember her horse who had passed went into Ella's body.
Oh, I had forgotten that. Yeah. And she told you later that that she was really healing, because we were doing one of the exercises prior to that in your home, and she was saying, I don't know if I'm understanding this. And I said, okay, well, let's just, forget about all that or any ideas of how that might come through, and let's just kind of talk about it and see what you get. And then when she kind of moved out of her head, she was getting information, and she's fine. She'll be a great communicator. But then she confided that I just lost my horse, and I just don't know if I can open to anything. It just might be too painful. But Ella healed her. It was really amazing to see. I mean, it was so, the evidence was there. We could all see it.
Yeah. And that was really, I remember that was unique for Ella because she really liked to be in the light, but it did allow Z to come in, so using the horses in different ways. And, it's just, that was part of the design too.
It really was. And, the other thing is we see these things and it's easy to put animals like kind of on a pedestal. Like when my dog comes in and tells me things, I'm like, oh, wow. But then in the next moment, she's like growling at somebody or, she's doing something very, very much in this world.
Yeah. And then even how we relate to the animals. Like, excuse me, my horse, Ruth, my young spicy horse, I really have to question how do I be with her? Because there's the traditional way to be with a horse, you be the leader. And I don't want to be that. But when I'm not that, she like ramrods me, she like pushes into me and she can be dangerous. And so I'm struggling. And that's, in the life coaching too, in being my own life coach, I'm struggling with how do I be in partnership with another animal or another soul without doing the traditional, you need to do this. And then when you see it doesn't go. So there's this huge message I'm trying to get through my interactions with Ruth. And so, I would love to work with a life coach, come out and work with me and Ruth.
Yeah.
But just sometimes what I'm saying is sometimes having a third party come out and say, okay, this is what's happening in the relationship that's happening with you and your animal or you and the horses, and asking the questions, what does that mean? So we get out of our heads. Sometimes it's really important to have someone watching what's happening in the environment around you and then asking the questions. And that's fun. That's what I can do at Centaur Development with the horses.
Yeah. And there's all different approaches, but I also see you walking up to Ruth and just talking to her or meditating and having an experience when you meditate and just saying, Ruth, I'm looking at a relationship and how we might best be, or calling your guides and helpers and what is best and highest, and look at how that might be, because it feels that you're going to kind of start with one approach that's going to be tweaked a little bit, but then
I have for 6 years.
Yeah, but then she's going to start moving because as your energy has changed, hers is changing, and it feels like she is softening. I know it doesn't look like it.
No,
but it does
yeah.
feel like she's softening, and she's going to start opening up more because I see her like a rose, I guess, of this flower that's starting to open. And she kind of like things her way. And I feel like this kind of slamming the fist.
And I like things my way.
Mm-hmm. So, is she mirroring you or are you mirroring her?
Exactly. So see, this is fun because I can help you in life coaching and you can help me in, talking with animals. And so
I'll come up one day and we'll talk to her and see what she says and what she wants. Yeah. I remember the first time I met her, she was very clear on what she wanted and how she wanted things to be. And and so
I remember that she wanted to be, a free Indian horse and me ride her with no, headstall or bridle or anything, which it's a dream of mine. There's definitely people I idolize who do that, but I'm not ready to do that on a horse I don't trust. And
I remember she told me her name was Spirit and she wanted that experience again. And we had to tell her, that's not the life you've chosen this time.
Yeah. So it's really neat. So I guess my end message, to the people listening to this is get partnership in your growth. Get partnership, whether it be me through a life coach or Darcy through animals or friends like Darcy and I are friends. It's important to surround yourself with people with the same kind of energy. They're going to pull you forward and help you. And there is a whole resource of people like that.
Yeah. And what we've done too is because you can feel very alone in this work and who can you talk to about it? But when you find those like-minded people, join some groups. So what I've done is maybe I haven't been able to always join groups because I didn't have pet sitters or they weren't always available. So I just created those myself. So now I have, a monthly group.
We're in our Soul Sister group together.
We have a Soul Sister group every month, and there's, I think, 5 or 6 of us. And it's such a place where we know each other and we connect, and we don't have to explain anything.
And that I think brings also that energy that we need to move our planet into a better place. Don't just sit with your energy, expand it. Make new friends with people you admire. surround yourself with people who believe in this stuff, who believe you can talk to animals, who believe in spirit guides, who believe in energy and letting things happen. And let's build this whole community stronger and stronger and stronger. And, if you need any ideas of resources or something, you can call me or visit my website. You can talk to Darcy. Let us help you.
Yeah, please do. And reach out. And if you don't have people in your community that you can connect with, go to East West Bookstore here in Seattle, or go to different classes and meet them and create something in your home if you need to. I have a Monday night. It's actually a mediumship group, but we play with energy. And this last time we just said, okay, let's just invite spirit in and come closer and be with us. And if there's somebody that wants to come in and give a message to a particular person here, then, bring that in. And then we each got something for that particular person. And it's fun. And it's fun to know that we're so supported by our family and our loved ones, our people and animals on the other side. Yeah. But I think we are out of time.
Okay.
I want to thank you everyone for listening today. And, Stacy, would you give out your contact information one more time? Yeah.
So it's Stacy Lewis, and my website is centaurdevelopment.com, the horse human, CENTAUR development.com. And, come out to the ranch and experience the horses. Come experience a different way to be in mind, body, and spirit. Even the horses, the dogs, the land. I have a magical place. I'm very fortunate.
It's very magical.
I love sharing it with the people who need to see it.
Yeah, and her dogs are so fun. I just love them. They're yellow labs, and boy, they're fun. They'll come over and kiss you to death. Yeah. So, and I'm Darcy Pariso. It's Darcy Pariso's Paris with an O. And if you need help with your animals or mediumship, animals or people that have crossed over, or energy healing, please contact me. So have a wonderful New Year, and we'll check in with you. I'll be back on the fourth Thursday this month. Thank you so much. This is Darcy Pariso, Animal Soul Wisdom.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Animal Soul Wisdom Radio, tapping into the wisdom of our animals, angels, and masters with Darcy Pariso. Tune in monthly as Darcy shares stories and insights on how to better understand and deepen our relationships with animals. Working with light and ancient techniques, Darcy is here to guide you through the process and provide inspiration to move forward. For more information or to listen to this show, visit darcypariso.com.